Okay, so I'm here right now with Ethan with Ace Garage Doors. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Stacy. How are you doing?
I am pretty good. I'm just enjoying this wonderful cool weather here in southern Louisiana.
Yep. Yep. Right.
Man. So, can you just provide us with a brief overview of Ace Garage Door Company?
Yeah. So, like you said, we're Ace Garage Door Company. We have two locations, one out of Laplace and one out of Slidell, and we're moving the one in Laplace actually to Elmwood at the end of the year. We specialize in residential overhead doors, garage doors, and openers. And we also specialize in commercial as well. So we're all over the place all the time. We got about 13 trucks on the road and in total about 28 employees. So we're rapidly growing and trying
Wow.
to expand.
And how long ago did you start this business? Did you start
So
this business?
no, so my dad actually opened up doors in 2014. He had worked for a door company since he was little. In 98, he started at Dial One House of Doors, which no longer exists.
Okay.
Um, and when I was probably when I turned five, I had the luxury of him dragging me out to job sites because that's
Nice.
that's what a guy that works in the heat and watches his 5-year-old son relax, that's what he does. So it's fine. But so I've also been in the industry for forever. But
Since
my
you were
dad,
five.
yes, since I was five. So my dad started in 2014, and we basically he it was just him in a pickup truck, and he just put customer service above all. He wasn't worried about a bottom line. His primary focus was, is this person secure and are they happy? And over time, we just exponentially grew each year. And in 2014, when he opened up, I was actually 13. So I got to watch him, grow something with his bare hands. He would start his day at 6 in the morning and work until 6 at night, get home, and then he would jump on the computer and do computer work until midnight, go to sleep, and do it all over again for 6 weeks.
Wow.
So, and it was also entertaining watching him. He had to teach himself how to use a computer. So he was like, I would sit in there and he would go peck, 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 typing in emails.
No way. Oh my
It was
gosh.
it was super entertaining, and he really just took the opportunity, every opportunity he got, and then things just fell into place. And then in 2020, I was getting out of college. I was actually pre-med, but I didn't get into med school my first try. So I was coming to the office to learn the back end. And lo and behold, not too long, Hurricane Ida hits. And so my dad was just exhausted and he needed help.
Bad.
So that's where I stepped in. And so now me and him, we kind of handle the operations and everything. And then my mom, Jamie, she handles the accounting, and we just roll each day.
Wow. That is awesome. So med school, garage doors.
Well,
What
I tell you,
what do you think about that?
well, I learned that med school wasn't for me. So I was still in college. I was a sophomore in college, and my mom was in the hospital for something, but they had to take blood for something. And I was watching, and I went in the bathroom and I threw up. And that's when I was like, you know what? This may not be the field for me. So, and luckily I had experience in a trade because, my dad wanted me to hang out with him whenever I was
Right.
younger.
Yeah, you had that to fall back on. So you
Yep.
got your bachelor's degree and
Yes, I have a bachelor's in science.
okay. Awesome. Wonderful. So, that is great. So just a family, good old family business based on customer service. That's
Family
awesome.
through and through. I got two uncles that work with us. Um, one of my grandmas work with us in the office. Basically,
Really?
how I put it is we have 28 employees and probably about a third of them have our last name. So
That's awesome. I love that. I grew up on a dairy farm in
Mhm.
Wisconsin, so I know all about that whole family business kind of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's fun. It has its moments.
Right, I
Uh,
bet.
there's times where me and my dad go go head to head, but he has way more experience than I do. So most of the time I just try to listen and gain
Right.
whatever knowledge
But
he
I'm
has on.
sure you bring a certain aspect of technology with you
The
that is
new
probably
the,
really
the new
important in
generation.
growing the business, right?
Right. So whenever I first came in, my primary directive was to organize. Um, you know, my dad can crank out garage doors residentially or commercially, probably the best in the state. But where his one weakness was probably organization, and that's luckily where that's probably where my strength is. So it's definitely, you know, I make up for anything that he lacks, and he makes up for anything that I lack. Because
That's the
my thing.
best.
A lot of times, when I have more experience in the residential aspect, so whenever a residential tech calls me, I can help them. That's no problem. Whenever a commercial tech calls me, I'm like, okay, let me think. Just because I don't have that much experience with it.
Right, right, right.
So a lot of times,
Dad, need your help.
yeah. So I'll go to him, and he's like, "Oh, well, did you try this?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't try that."
Awesome.
um,
Well, that's so cool. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions about kind of like the range of services that you do. If you can kind of let us know what you offer your customers.
right. We offer our customers pretty much everything when it comes to garage doors. So residentially speaking, our normal hours of operation are 7 to 4. Um, but I don't hold my guys to make sure that they don't make overtime. Like I let them make overtime,
Mhm.
which they like, they're fine with it. So whenever a customer's like, hey, I really can't be there until 4:30, it's okay. We get there. But yeah, so we have the ability, basically. I have 13 trucks on the road. So yeah, most times when people, I would say probably 75% of calls we can get to within the same day, and probably 85 to 90% of calls we get to within the next day. Unless, of course, the customer wants to schedule something else, which is completely fine. We'll work around it. Um, our service area is actually very large. It ranges from Baton Rouge to Gulf Coast, Mississippi.
Awesome.
And we go down home at Thibodaux. We've been down to Grand Isle, and then we try to stop right at the Mississippi state line, at the top of the boot. So
Wow. Yeah, you're all over the place.
all over the place. But a good thing about it is our crew, our technicians, we've basically, my dad being in the door industry so long, we've basically taken anyone that is awesome. We've basically recruited them into our family. And so we have people that live everywhere. We got North Shore, South Shore, Thibodaux. We have techs that live everywhere, and they come here. Like that, we all meet in Laplace in the morning and disperse again.
Oh, wow.
Uh, right. And then and in terms of, we do obviously garage door installs on a house.
Mhm.
Uh, we also do lifestyle screens, which is a cool option if people like to use their garage kind of like as a hangout space.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yep, we started doing roll down screens, which
Okay.
is something new that we're getting into. And the operators, the side mount operators, the standard operators, all that fun stuff. We repair and we replace. And then commercially, we do it all too. We do, sectionals, coiling doors. If people need those mini storage doors, we do those as well.
Okay.
Um, and then security shutters. So the list, it goes on and on. We just we slowly but surely I feel like we take a new thing
Right.
every year.
Like
So like,
probably you just want to supply the customer with what they want.
right. Well, a lot of times what happens is, the customer will ask, and like I'm like, well, I'll be honest, I don't know, but let me find out. Like,
Right. That's
I'll learn about
great.
it for you. And because like it's a good arsenal to add,
Absolutely.
for the whole team. One thing we're getting into next year on a commercial aspect is hollow metal doors. So, and not many people do that around here. So, and I've just gotten a call so many times that I'm like, well, all right, we need to learn this area, this field needs some help, and we need to try and offer something to it.
That is
Um,
great. I think that's so important that a business does that, that they see the needs of their customers and they are willing to pivot and, provide for their customers. That's awesome.
right. Because I mean that's the goal. I never, my worst case scenario every day is that a guy goes to a job and they're like, nah, sorry, can't do that. Like, no, let's figure it out.
No, don't say that.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
Right.
It's it goes back when I was younger, and I was first starting to work and doing whatever, anything that deals with a customer, it was always instead of saying, I don't know, and leave it at that, you know, say, hey, let's figure it out.
Right.
That way you put forth the effort to try and help. Um, the only thing that we have not dabbled in that a lot of people still ask for is gate operators. So we're still waiting on those, but those require a special license.
Okay,
So
what
we're
is that?
so a gate operator is so our residential motors that we use is they're branded by LiftMaster, who awesome garage door opener company, but they also do gate openers. And so gate openers are like, when like you pull into a gated community
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
gate's
yeah, yeah.
open,
Okay.
that's what it is. And a lot of people around town, they have it on their house. Like they have their whole house blockaded and then they'll have a gate that opens up.
Wow,
Uh,
fancy.
yeah, so that's one that we get a lot. And I often, refer someone just because, at the same time I want to help. I don't want to like if I know someone can do that, in their expertise, I'm gonna punt it to them.
Right, right.
At the
Yeah,
same
that
time,
seems pretty extensive.
yeah, it's in the back of my mind to get working on it,
Yeah.
but and yeah, that's something else to add down the road for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. How exciting. So that's a good segue into my next question. Like, what kind of exciting news do you have for the future? Any new plans on expansion or new products or anything like that?
Yeah, so expanding, that's my favorite word. My
Yeah.
my dad kind of looks at me like, aren't
He's
you
ready
stressed?
to be
Yeah,
done.
aren't you stressed enough? Aren't we stressed enough? But no, so like I said, we originally we were in Laplace. And that's where I'm sitting currently. That's where our primary location is. We're actually moving that to Elmwood. And then about 2 years ago, we opened up a satellite location in Slidell, to try and have more of a presence on the North Shore, mainly because probably half the company lives over there, including myself. I live in Tangipahoa. I live in Hammond. Donald lives in Slidell. So we're both coming down here for work. So we wanted to put a location on the North Shore just because we have so many people over there.
Right.
And then ideally within the next 2 or 3 years, I'd like to be in Gulfport and then try and work down the coast.
Yes.
Baton Rouge is always a great area to be in. But I feel like we can hit Baton Rouge pretty sufficiently from our current location.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so you know, in the next 2 or 3 years, I want to get a Gulfport location up. And
Awesome.
then, you know, within the next 5 to 10, push towards Florida and, you know, push for
Alabama,
more.
all that
Yep.
area. That's
All that.
awesome.
And, you know, you look at it, you know, all along the Gulf Coast, one of the main things that is prevalent on the Gulf Coast is hurricanes.
Yep.
Uh, and so, you know, a reason I want to expand along the Gulf Coast is because there's a lot of people in our industry that don't properly win rate the doors.
Right.
You know, because it's no secret, you know, the economy's tough. The economy's tough, you know, here and there, you know, but whenever someone's building, you know, if their contractor isn't on their P's and Q's and they get their door guy to put in a door and, you know, they throw a couple struts on it and call it wind load, it's not going to fly. You know, a hurricane's going to come and rip that thing right off. And then, you know, as soon as that goes, your roof's next.
Right.
So,
Right.
right.
Wow. So I was interviewing one of your guys at a location in Slidell last week, and he was telling me something about um, like a fabric back compared to a metal back.
Yeah. 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 So,
Tell us a little bit about that.
yeah. So generally, and this is kind of broad across all manufacturers. But generally, you know, your basic door is non-insulated.
Okay.
Um, you know, like a lot of track home builders, people that are like, you know, throwing up houses, the garages aren't insulated, so their door doesn't need to be insulated. And so like this behind me, that's a non-insulated door. Most of the time it's 25 gauge steel. And you can win rate it actually. They do win rate testings on it. But as far as the soft back and the steel back, that's when you get into insulation. So usually what I try to push is, you know, if they just want something plain standard, they're not worried about anything, they just want something to last them 10 to 12 years, you know, they go with the door behind me, like something non-insulated, something that just gets them by. If they're looking for something kind of like that, but their garage is insulated or it gets too hot in their garage and they like to hang out in their garage, that's where the vinyl back insulation comes in.
Okay.
So it's polystyrene insulation, and then it has the vinyl backing on the back of it, and it's in between the sections. But you can actually see the insulation. The main downside with this is, you know, if you have kids running around the garage or anything like that, you know, you could like stick a pencil in it, and it'll
Gotcha.
right. So it doesn't do anything for the sturdiness of the door, but that's where the steel back comes in. So not only does the steel back has a greater R value for the insulation, it's also much sturdier. You're basically getting you know, double the door. Sorry, that's my phone. I got it going in there.
Oh, mine's
Uh,
going too. That's okay.
but you know, my dad's philosophy with the steel back was always, you know, you're getting double the door for half the price, which kind of sounds funny, but you know,
I'll
instead
do
of that
it.
10 to 12 year span, you know, you're more than likely to get, you know, more of a 20-year lifespan out of that door, you know, as opposed to something not steel back insulated like that. Now they do offer different types of insulation. The two types are polystyrene, which is a lot of what we use, and the other one is polyurethane. So the polyurethane is actually a better insulator, but they do. I feel like their testing centers aren't in the South with this heat and humidity. Because
Ah,
what we've noticed is that polyurethane, because the polystyrene's laid in. The polyurethane is shot in and then as a liquid, and then it expands. And so what we've noticed with the polyurethane is that a lot of times when it gets really hot and really humid, it'll start to bubble in the section.
mm,
And it'll create like a bubble effect on the door, and it looks bad. So I usually try to push the polystyrene, one because you don't have to deal with that.
right,
Uh, you know, it is more cost efficient,
right.
and you know, polyurethane is really made for, insulating against cold weather. And we don't
Definitely
have that.
don't have that here.
Don't have that. I like cold weather. I was giddy when it was 20 degrees this past winter.
Oh, no
And
way.
and you know, it I had a I have a steel back door that's polystyrene and my garage was fine.
Oh,
But
wow. Okay. Well, awesome. Okay, got
a
I have
lot of
more.
information intake there, I
It
know.
is a lot of information. You never think about that for a garage door.
Oh
I've got
yeah.
one last question that I'd love to hear about. Like, how are you involved in your local community? Like, are there any upcoming events or initiatives or anything that you're involved in? I'm big into philanthropy and I'm big into community. I serve on the board for Women's Council of Realtors for events. So I'm like all about philanthropy and all that. So what do you guys do? How do you guys feel about that?
So one of the main things we do that's philanthropy. I
Yes.
got it. One of the main things we do is St. Jude Dream Homes. Every St. Jude Dream Home that one of the contractors build, if they're our contractor, we completely donate the door. We donate the door and the labor, absolutely no charge. That's one of our ways to donating to the hospital. We also partake in numerous schools, like donating for like school banners, to get, like a baseball field,
Right, gotcha.
that banner, you pay so and so much. We donate a lot of charitable golf things, and that's mainly me. I'm a golf guy, so I see something and I just can't help myself.
Awesome.
Um, we're part of the North Shore Home Builders Association.
Oh,
Love
great.
being in there. And that's one of our main things. We've noticed on the North Shore, especially, that the wind rating thing I mentioned, where the subs weren't properly wind rating the doors. And so that's one of the things we've really tried to push as we were there to say, hey, no, 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 no. This is what you need. This is the win rating. This is what it calls for.
Awesome.
Um, and but yeah, I would say St. Jude Dream Home. That's my favorite one. So
Okay,
that's
that's
one.
awesome.
Yeah, we try to help whenever we can.
That's
It's not too often you get to do something in like a garage door industry.
right.
Um, so basically any which way we can, whether it's, donating to Sally's school, for whatever, or putting in a free door for St. Jude. It's whatever opportunity comes across, we usually jump on it.
Awesome. That's great. Well, is there any last words that you want to say or anything that we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
I would not really. For
All
for
right.
outstanding service and more, call Ace Garage Door.
Awesome. That is great. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. I don't know if you were able to see the other video that I did when I interviewed one of your service guys. I
Not yet. I'm excited because I think it's Isaac. And if it's
Yep,
Isaac, I'm really excited
it
because
was
Isaac,
Isaac. Yes, it's
he's
on
fun.
Instagram, it's on Facebook, so check it out.
Have to
And
go check it out.
yes, for sure.
That's another thing I love. Like we're all, I try to, me and my dad, we try to, make everything, we dislike the corporate feel.
Yeah,
There is a certain level of growth to where you need some corporate aspects, but it's just being able to operate like as a family owned business that's this large to be able to produce. It's
right.
nice because like the employee camaraderie is awesome. Like
Oh,
all
I bet.
all of my coworkers, they're like my best friends.
Yeah, and I'm sure that your customers can feel that and recognize that,
Yeah.
as opposed to corporate like you're talking about, where it's like punch the
Right.
clock, gotta do this, gotta do that.
Yeah.
It's great that you're so customer based and customer oriented. I love
And then
that.
it's communication too. Like I tell the guys, like, first off, me or Donald, we wouldn't ask you to do anything that we wouldn't do ourselves.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
great.
That being said, we would do a lot. You know, we like I literally watched my dad work from 12 to 6, 6 days a week. Wait, no, from 6 a.m. to midnight, 6 days a week for about 5 years. So we
Wow.
would do a lot, but you know, just them knowing that, I feel like it's you know, we all have a mutual respect for each other.
That's so awesome. Well, I love that. I'm so happy I met you. Where was that? The Women's Council of the
No, that was I was at one of the North Shore Home Builders
That's right.
Association.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's a good organization.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, I'm
It's
very happy that I could do this and, help promote your business and all that. So if there's anything I can do for you guys, you just let me know.
awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the time, and this was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. Well, keep in touch, okay? And I'll send you all this stuff and we'll get together.
Sounds good, Stacy.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you. Bye.